And then I vomited. Hello, I'm Kelly Mantle. Hello, I'm Kelly Mantle. Hello, I'm Kelly Mantle. And this is the Kelly Mantle Show. Won't you come inside the Kelly Mantle studio? Do you know I never know where I am, but I always end up where I'm supposed to be? Isn't that celebratory? The other day, I was having lunch with my good Judy John Mark down by the bay, and I overheard him say, "Hey, today's her birthday. Can we get some complimentary cheesecake?" And I said, "John Mark, sit down." Remember that?
Yeah.
You know, to me, birthdays are like Saturdays, and Saturdays are like Sundays, and Mondays always get me down. And Tuesdays are like Wednesdays, but Wednesdays are not like Thursdays. And Friday, I'm in love with you. Because today is your birthday. Because hello, you're Kelly Mantle. And this episode is just for you. Happy birthday.
Let's start the episode.
And then I vomited. Q&A with all of you. What do you say? Let's get into it. Are you ready? What, if anything, do you miss about where you grew up? Could be landscape, stores, restaurants, traditions, etc. I miss Otasco. I really loved Otasco. Otasco was a hardware store in Cordell, Oklahoma, where I was born and raised and grew up. And they used to have Barbies at the Otasco. And I was also the football coach's child. And I would go into the Otasco where everyone was buying their hardware and their hammers and their tools and their nails. And I would pick up a Barbie. And I would go up to the counter and I would pay for my Barbie with my little $5 bill. And I would waltz out of Otasco with my Barbie in hand. And I would have her go home and make love to G.I. Joe. It was amazing. Thank you for asking. And Lucy House says, I'd love to know how you and Tammy met. Well, I met Tammy when we were both in the insane asylum together. And the walls were blue. You might be familiar. And we both died. And we met in the afterlife. And then we both came back to life. Kind of like Jesus Christ, superstar. And we have been razzling and dazzling across the streets of Hollywood Boulevard ever since. All the way back to, we worked with Joan and Betty, we worked with Mr. DeMille. I mean, we worked with all the best. Thank you for asking at Lucy House. At Article Feminine, I really like that. You sound like a feminist, and I love feminist. She wants to know, at the very end of this universe, what do you hope to find? Article Feminine, I don't know. I'm going to just say a big black horse with a big cherry tree. That's what I'm going to say. That's what I hope I find at the end of this life, is a big black horse and a cherry tree. Would you rather have your toes as fingers or your legs as arms? Well, that's a very good question at Oliver Rivers 2888. I'm going to say that I would rather have my legs as arms. I hate toes. I think toes should all be cut off, and I don't think they should be in existence anymore. I think they are a vulgarity, if you ask me. Although I do like to paint mine from time to time. I usually prefer pink or black. Carvin Nendell wants to know, have you read any Sylvia Plath? Two Lovers and a Beachcomber by the Real Sea. One of the best things ever written. Sylvia Plath. Google it. At Ms. Wiper 3019, another feminist, hence the MSS. Can you please tell us more about the different personalities living in your head? Well, my headmates that are coexisting in my headspace are living there rent free. You know, what are those called? Scalpers? Pokers? Peckers? Home endeavors? They live rent free in my head, and I'm going to start charging them at least a security deposit in case they decide to leave. I always imagine if they decide to leave me, I'll still be with me, I think. Right? Did I do the math? Is that mathing? Is the math mathing? What was the question? Can you please tell us more about the different personalities? Well, see, and this is what happens is because they all try to tune in and try to answer these questions. So I have all these answers coming at me at once, and I start thinking, well, who's living in my head? And I think protectors, inspectors, trans investigators, magicians and poets and playwrights and music makers and magic makers and time travelers and wake and bakers. Imagine if they decide to leave me, I'll still be with me. Protectors, inspectors, trans investigators, right? Magicians and poets and playwrights and music makers and magic makers and time travelers and wake and imagine if they decide to leave me, I'll still be with me, I think. I want freedom to be the future. And I think it's time that we turn back time and get rid of the dinosaurs again. When the world ends, there will be cockroaches and Cher. And I am sure that Cher will lead us to a place where we can believe in love after love. Did you keep the excess skin? Do you still rest your bones in water? Is Hannibal Lecter still asking, Clarice? Are the lambs still crying, Clarice? Teacup Story 9816. You sound like a Tori Amos fan, and I love you. If you had unlimited money and you could do any profession other than your current one, what would it be? Well, I moved to Hollywood and I became a hooker on TV. That's not to say that I wasn't one in my personal life. I just wasn't smart enough to charge for it. But what would I do if I had an occupation other than my own and other than being a hooker? Because I would love to be a hooker. I think that'd be amazing. I would want to open a fine arts school, like that movie Fame, the TV show. Fame! I'm gonna live forever. Because I always loved, when I was in college in theater, I always loved seeing all like dancers run around in their like dance tights and their little leg warmers and doing their little stretches and stuff. And I'm like, I want to be a dancer. You get to be quiet. And I love silence. You can learn so much about yourself in silence. Big Mac 8309 says, would you consider taking Tammy on in a cage match? Oh, hell yeah. Lucha Libre, baby. El Santo, henny. And she's into MMA fighters, so you know Tammy and I, bitch, we would throw down. John Mark, tell me that Tammy and I would not throw the fuck down.
Y'all would throw down.
That was so heartfelt, John Mark. You are so stupid. Order in the court, order in the court, order in the court. You know, we have an amazing cast of crew here at the Kelly Mantle Show. You know, it's co-executive produced by our good Judy's, Trixie and Katya here at the PEG Studios, Studio 71. We've got Sydney on the DJ boards, baby. We've got Tracy and the Mind. But you know who really runs this little shindig here is John Mark. And I'm going to force John Mark to get on camera now. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome the Unabomber, John Mark. We have the Unabomber in the Kelly Mantle studio.
Well, I wasn't planning on being on camera today or ever again.
It's fashion. You are fashion. You never thought about being on camera ever again?
No, I'm in the shadows now.
Oh
I operate in the shadows.
You'll never be in the shadows. You'll always be in the light, Caroline. Go towards the light, Caroline. Whose are your frames again? Versace? Gucci?
They are Versace, but I got them for 60% off because my dad's best friend is my optometrist.
You know, my first acting coach was also my gynecologist.
Is that a true story?
Talk about your vagina monologues. I got your vagina monologues right here, bitch. What you waiting for? Stanislavski, fuck MFA, BFA, baby. What are some people or characters that inspire you? Oh my goodness, where to begin? I mean, Sandra, Sinead, Cher, um, Ani, Lana, Madonna, Jane Fonda, Jasmine Crockett, Jasmine Masters, Boy George, George Michael, Michael Jackson, Liz, Liza, Laughter, Love, Lubricant. Jillian Mendez, 9080. Can you tell me a little bit about my purpose? I'm having a hard time locating my user manual and I have no idea what my function is. Thanks, Kelly. Well, Jillian Mendez, your purpose is to live your life authentically and unapologetically and don't take life too seriously. I hope this helps. You're welcome. Thomas Spicone, 46, says, what is your acting process? How do you remember lines well? What gets you in the zone? Well, you know, Thomas, I actually don't memorize my lines if I have enough time. I feel like if you have enough time to sit with the character and the script and the dialogue, then it just becomes a part of you and a part of the moment. And if you're in the moment, you're listening to what your partner's saying or what your internal subtextual character is saying. And then the words just come to you because you know that that's what that person would say because you've become that person. So I don't actually ever memorize lines. I just become that person. And then I know that's what they would say. So now you were a teacher in China?
I taught dance in Shanghai, yes.
You're quite the dancer.
Well,
You're
yeah.
a dirty dancer.
Yeah, I do have a college degree in dance, so I really have no idea how I ended up here.
I was a dancer, but I was a different kind of dancer. I was a neurotic dancer.
But you know, when we first endeavored to do this podcast, I thought, wow, what are people going to think of this? But I would say it's been successful, and every day I'm so happy to look in the comments and see the outpouring of love.
Well, that befalls all of us here and together. Because you know what I love? I love togetherness from a distance.
I've actually brought some comments here, some fan comments. Oh my God.
Where have you been today and who have you touched?
I put all this furniture into place, you old witch.
Oh my God.
Bambi has said, I love how Kelly just seems like she appeared one day, no prior experience.
That's hilarious, Bambi, because it's very true. Even though I have tons of prior experience, I don't ever fall on any of it because I've forgotten that it's happened.
Well, you are a performer, but you did say that playing yourself is the hardest role.
Well, you weren't supposed to share that with the whole world.
Sorry.
But...
That was between us, I guess. Cheesy Potato says, how does Kelly survive? Well, I can tell you a little bit about that. She mostly eats nuts and seeds and baby spinach.
This is true.
Carol
and
Ruth,
a little feta cheese.
A little feta cheese. Carol Ruth Jacobs commented on the YouTube podcast. She says, you need to do a podcast. Your voice is so calming. She
commented on the podcast
series.
and said you need to do a podcast.
Yeah, she thinks it's a YouTube series.
I love you, Carol. I wouldn't even know I was watching a podcast either. And I would tell that person, you should do a podcast. I wouldn't even know that I was watching a podcast either. You know, because I think I saw that question earlier too. Someone said, what podcast do you listen to? And I listen to The Bald and the Beautiful. What do you listen to? What are your favorite podcasts?
I like to fall asleep to Stuff You Should Know. They do different histories on things like paper clips and Abraham Lincoln's assassination. I like to learn like how stuff is constructed and made as well. Mechanical engineering, things of that sort.
Thank God.
Someone named...
Are you serious?
Yeah, it's calming.
Can you hear him? Can you hear John Mark?
Yeah.
That is hilarious. I can't even hardly hear you. That's hilarious.
Well,
you listen to podcasts about mechanical engineering?
I do. Well, like how stuff is constructed and made.
Oh my God, that would blow my brain up. Like I have to listen to like nothingness My favorite pastime, my favorite thing in the world to do is I have one little corner in my dining room that has a white wall, and I stare at the blank white wall for hours in silence. And it's the most amazing thing in the whole world. I think a podcast about mechanical engineering would blow my brain out.
You know what else is nice?
What?
The rain.
Who let in the rain?
I like that sound. I'll crack the
And then,
window.
rain, feel it on my fingertips, hear it on my window pane, your love coming down like rain. Imagine if Cher sang rain. Rain, I feel my fingertips.
Uvia.
Well, it's a one for the money, two for the show. Cher, ladies and gentlemen.
Splemser says Kelly and her papers, which I say a lot. There's a lot of paper, Kelly.
Girl, we have to have the papers here at the Kelly Mantle show. She has her notes, her diaries, her journals, her research, her index cards from the library. Mama, it is coded.
Chris says she's simultaneously the Carol Burnett and Barbara Walters of drag.
I'm simultaneously what?
The Carol Burnett and Barbara Walters of drag.
Oh, what huge compliments. I mean, I think Barbara Walters was, she definitely had an evil stroke to her, didn't she? She really liked to go in for the jugular, and Carol Burnett, I mean, the queen of comedy. So, yeah, I think when you mix comedy with a stroke of catastrophe. Adrian, #RX8RG. That is a big name to carry around. What are some formative comedic performances in film for you? Oh, goodness. Well, I wasn't much of a movie watcher. What I loved was solo shows. I remember Lily Tomlin's Search for Signs, Sandra Bernhardt's Without You, I'm Nothing. Oh, I mean, and then, of course, television, The Carol Burnett Show. A funny story about the Carol Burnett show is Rue and I had a connection over Carol Burnett because Carol Burnett was also a childhood idol of his. And I know that Rue had a very special relationship with her maternal figures, as did I, and Carol did too. And at the end of all the Carol Burnett shows, she would tug on her ear as a sign to her grandmother, Bev. And when I was eliminated, Rue tugs on his ear, and it was so cute. That was like my favorite part of being on Drag Race. But what were we talking about? Oh, yeah, comedic performance, and then any Christopher Guest movie. What other television shows? I loved The Jeffersons. Oh, The Jeffersons was one of my favorite shows growing up. And Sue Ellen on Dallas. She'd always have that glass, and she'd circle her fingers around it and be like, well, JR, you think you're going to get away with this now, do you? Linda Gray. Oh, I really liked her. I know it wasn't supposed to be funny, but it made me laugh as a child because I thought, I want to grow up to be Sue Ellen on Dallas.
Buffalo Replaced says, I need Kelly to open the podcast one day by reciting the opening monologue to Lana Del Rey's Ride music video.
I love that monologue. That's literally my favorite Lana Del Rey song is Ride with the monologue. And she's like swinging in that tire. Who's the actress? There was recently an actress on a red carpet, and they were Variety magazine was asking her, who was that, James? Anna Kendrick? She said, how do you feel about releasing this movie right now and all this drama? And she said, what drama? I did ayahuasca, and I've been out for the last year. Anyway, I heard it's a really great movie. What? Bye. And she walks off.
Ayahuasca. I can't imagine endeavoring to take a journey that involves that much vomit, but that sounds right up your alley.
No, can you imagine a germaphobe on ayahuasca?
You would hate it too, because I think part of the process that I see, I only know what Hollywood shows me, but you pass a bowl around, so you're putting your lips on the same bowl.
Oh, hell no. I don't care if I was stoned out of my mind on ayahuasca, Neskana, wanna. Honey, you stick a bowl up in my face that someone else has licked out of. No, it's not coming near me. I'm going to slap that shit out of your hands, and then everyone's going to be mad at me.
People come back from that, though, like they just did the 12 steps. They come back, they start talking to you, apologizing for things, and telling you all the things they realized.
Interesting. How long does it last for?
I don't know. Some people, I think it like starts really nice and then wears off. I don't know. I'm not an expert in this.
4 hours? I think
That's the trip and balls part is 4 hours.
Oh, really?
And then it's supposed to give you a sort of high that carries into
So
your
is there
lifestyle.
a coming down from it? Because
Yeah.
that would be harsh.
I'm not an authority on this subject.
Have you done it?
No, never.
Do you want to do it?
No.
I think you do.
No, I don't want to see
You
nothing.
seem like someone that would want to do it.
No.
Uh-huh.
What makes you feel that way?
Because you just seem like someone that would want to do it because you like to explore all 32
Like different
flavors
kinds
and
of
then
foods,
some.
Kelly.
No.
Not ayahuasca.
You like
Jesus
to explore.
Christ.
You like to explore crevices of the mind.
Do you think it's crazy when I get, the special on the menu? Because this one at the Mexican restaurant is the same thing every time.
Who, me?
Yes.
Well, I have to have my little grilled chicken fajita.
I do like that.
And a little slice of flan afterwards.
I love flan.
Could you tell us any more about any alien or paranormal activities you've encountered? And I don't mean your ones with the Tammy Brown. Well, yes, actually, they abducted me in 1792. And then they dropped me off in Detroit.
My name is Opulent, says Kelly. She looks like she's in her 20s. She acts like she's in her 40s and has the tech competency of someone in their 90s. Truly a diverse and versatile queen.
Most of that's accurate. I don't know about looking in my 20s, but I definitely have the text savvy of someone in their 90s. Thank you, Trixie. I don't know anything about anything. Someone, who was it, Coco? Remember when we were trying to get those verticals to Coco and she texted me and said, send them to my WhatsApp. I was like, fuck you, bitch. How the fuck do you know what WhatsApp is? Like, I don't even know what that is.
Right.
I'm all like, send them to you in what?
Well, there's been many times I've asked you to post some and it ends up having some kind of border around it or it's punched in weird but that's okay. And I struggle too.
You never know what it's going to do with your thing when you post it. Sometimes I posted something the other day and it went upside down. I don't know how anything works because I'm still trying to use my calculator and it tells me I'm banned from the calculator app.
I cheated my way through every math class I ever took.
Really?
I'm horrible. I can barely use a calculator.
Do you know I'm very good at math, actually? And so much so that when I was a senior in college, my advisor told me that I had 3 hours left that I had to cover in order to get my degree. And we had not noticed it until the last semester. And he's like, but unfortunately, all your acting time, there's no more acting classes you can take. And I said, well, put me in an advanced algebra class. And he's like, what? And I said, it eases my mind to do those equations. So I was in this like advanced algebra class at OU, my last semester of college with like all these like chemical engineers and all these. And, the teacher would have us go up to the chalkboard and we'd do the thing and I'd be like, and I'd like finish it and they'd all be like,
and do you use these skills? Are you applying these math skills in real life today?
I do them online when I need to ease my mind.
You go online and do math equations
I do
when you need to
advanced
ease your
algebra,
mind.
yes.
Oh, that's
equations.
wild, Kelly.
I know, because it just makes me relaxed. I'm like, I get formulas. I don't get things that aren't formulaic.
That is wild. Do you like Sudoku?
No, it irritates. Everything is as it should be, because this is where we are, and this is what everyone now sees. Because I'm very particular about what I put in my mouth. That came out wrong. Although I am very particular about what I put in my mouth.
Yeah, me too.
No, you're not.
No, I'm not. I used to eat these duck necks.
Who?
You get a bag of pickled duck necks.
Pickled duck necks?
Yeah, they're good.
Okay, that's just like cannibalism.
It's yummy. It's like a
they
jerky.
can't call it something else other than actually like being the duck neck. That's just rude.
I'm from the Midwest, lady.
Oh my god.
We hunt deer, venison.
Y'all do. That's
Venison.
so sad.
Not me personally. I don't like shooting
Poor
a
little
gun.
Bambi, honey.
Do you ever shot a gun?
No.
You not even once? You're from Oklahoma. Don't they love guns there?
No, my daddy wouldn't let us have, and yes, I call him my daddy. I was watching an interview with Dolly Parton the other day, and she was talking about her daddy, and she called him daddy. Anyway, my daddy said we never could have motorcycles or guns. And so I never had neither. But I always found boys that had those very hot.
Yeah.
James is threatening to take me to a gun range. And I told him, I said, you probably don't want to do that because I might get good at it. And then, if we ever have a disagreement of some kind.
Oh, I bet James knows a lot about guns.
Snapped.
Yeah.
Of course he knows a lot about guns. He was in the Marine Corps. They're all about their guns. Honey, I got my guitar. Every tool is a weapon if you hold it right.
That's true. I learned how to shoot guns at church camp when I was 12 years old. 22 caliber rifles, Army of Christ.
So you grew up in the Army of Christ.
Yeah.
You grew up in a cult.
Well, no.
Soup Specimen says, if you got trapped on a desert island alone, what would be the 3 things you would want with you? I would say people excluded because I'm alone, my guitar, and wine and weed. That's all I need to survive.
I'm not a fan of teenage wives. I think that's wrong. And I'm not a fan of teenage pregnancy either, for the record.
Honey, when I was a teenager, I was still playing with my Barbies.
Yeah.
But I was a little late bloomer, though, so you know.
Well, we are pro-choice here on the Kelly Mantle Show, are we not?
Honey, we are 100,000% pro-choice. It is a woman's body. It is a woman's choice. And we all get to make choices about our own bodies.
What do you think about people who get married at like age 20, 21?
I mean, listen, I get it because love is a drug and it just takes you over. And sometimes you just can't resist it.
Oh, that's true.
And you're like, oh my God, I'm in the heat of passion and you just asked me to marry you and I'm going to do it and I can't wait. And I think sometimes if you do it that young, a lot of things are going to evolve and change in your life. And I think that you have to, if you're going to do that, you need to allow each other to be individuals and have your own life as well as a shared life. And allow that person to grow and evolve and explore through life. Because the last thing you would want to do to someone you love is hold them back from being who they were born to be.
Well, any relationship, any couple you talk to that's been together a long time, they've evolved together through different chapters, different phases, you know?
Yes, absolutely. I mean, you're together, but you still need to be independent.
You like holding hands in public?
I love holding hands in public. James and I love to hold hands in public. He's just so cute.
Yeah.
Like, I just can't. I mean, we just do. Like, it just feels comfortable.
He's a nice guy.
We'll have little smooches and stuff in public sometimes.
That's cute.
Never once in a while, he likes to
He's a nice guy. One time he changed my tire.
He did change your tire.
He's
very much, he's very good at that.
Yeah.
Who gave you clearance? Daniel Vergara 4829. I'll tell you who gave me clearance, Daniel. Who gave me clearance was the goddess Isis. Isis gave me clearance to be the woman I have become today. And you will see me digging at the bottom of the clearance items in the bargain bin, searching for the answers to life in Nicole Kidman's pores. We shot the Browns down in Mexico.
We did.
And I remember John Mark, we were just starting to work together then. And we both agreed. We were like, because we were just making up shit just right there on the spot. And we were like, what should happen with Sheila here at the end? And we both agreed she should just be roaming the streets of Puerto Vallarta, barefoot and drunk with her bottle of wine and freaking out. And then you told me to go to the beach, but I think
you went into the ocean. And I don't remember if this made the Out TV cut, but I know in the original there was a little child lifeguard.
That made the Out TV cut.
Yeah, there's a child lifeguard who actually thought Kelly was drowning in the ocean.
Yes.
He was a little child lifeguard with a life vest.
He was adorable, and he came up and he was really trying to save me. He was trying to save me.
It was
hilarious.
Yeah.
Oh my God, I hope I didn't traumatize him for life.
No, I'm sure he was fine. I mean, he's a child on the beach in Puerto Vallarta. I'm sure he's seen worse. Jesus Christ. That's no place for children. Are you kidding me? That's Sodom and Gomorrah.
saw Tammy Brown walking down the beach.
Right.
Every time I see Tammy on the beach in Puerto Vallarta when we're there, you know that scene from Beaches when Bette Midler shows up to talk to her mom and she's tracing through the sand in that black pleather thing outfit with her big bright red hair. Every time I see Tammy on a beach, that's what I see. It's just Bette Midler from Beaches.
That's a wild place. These gay meccas are intense. My bronze level insurance can't handle them.
Girl,
They're
they
intense.
are intense, honey.
Province? You been to Provincetown?
I have never been. I was going to go this past summer to do something, but we got something else going or something happened. But yeah, I've never been to P-Town.
Yeah. It's P-Town,
wild.
Puerto Vallarta, Fire Island. That's a big one.
I did Fire Island for the first time ever. This past Gay Pride, we were there doing the Golden Girls with Jackie and Sherry. And everywhere I go, I always say, I love my LA.
You like driving around?
I love driving around in my convertible, honey, with the weather shining down on us.
Well, this has been fun.
This has been an enlightening experience from the ethereals of the Ethereans and Pasterians and Lesbiterians.
And if you're still here tuning in to this episode with a civilian like myself, I imagine you're a true fan of Kelly Mantle. So thank you for listening. We do this for you, the viewers.
Words spoken from the Unabomber, John Mark. 12 a.m., 12 a.m. That is the time that we release our podcast, is the witching hour at 12 a.m. Thank you for joining us. We really do appreciate you all. I mean, I read all of your comments and see all of your TikToks and Instagrams. I think it's wonderful. We're really building a community when a community needs to be built. That's what we're doing. Build it and they shall come. That is a baseball term from a baseball movie, and my uncle was Mickey Mantle, and it all makes sense in the end, full circle. When you wake up every day, you have chances to take and choices to make. And for some reason, you chose to spend this time with us here at the Kelly Mantle Show, and we thank you for that. Love you. Until next week. Signing off.
It's Kelly Mantle's birthday. Everybody celebrate. It's Kelly Mantle's birthday. Her Patreon is worth the pay.